How long could a 500-pound person go without food? Like, let's say one of those really obese people, you know, the ones that die because their house catches on fire and they're too fat to even leave their bed. Got trapped in their house with only water and no contact with the outside world. All that extra skin obsessé people who rapidly lose weight have. Would that eventually be consumed by their body to keep going, or would there just be a dead pile of skin and bones? What about the shock of going on that extreme of starvation? Would that just kill an obese person? They actually did an experiment where they had a person only drink water and certain nutrients, specifically B vitamins. I think he lasted over a year. ONVM. I just googled the answer. Apparently certain muscles need protein that can only come from regular eating. So obese people may even die sooner due to having weaker muscles. This has been the dietary equivalent of finding out there is no Santa Claus. Our fasting is a thread I accidentally ended up in and now lurk. As others have said, it's possible as long as the person is still getting vitamins and electrolytes. What's scary though is refeeding syndrome, where people can die when they start consuming food again. There is a guy on YouTube with the username Amazing Fasting Fat Man. He went over a year on just water, vitamins, and electrolytes. He stopped voluntarily and is fine. Let's assume their minimum weight is 210 pounds. Currently my goal weight. Then I'll work from there. 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. Assuming this person burns exactly 2,300 calories per day. Heavier people expend more energy to do the same things a 500 pounds person. They'd have to burn a total of 1,015,000 calories to get to their goal weight of 210 pounds. 1,015,000, they lost 16,100 calories per week, 2,300 day. It would take them 63 weeks, or just over 14 months to get to their goal weight. Don't quote me. I didn't fully memorize my times tables till I was almost 13. Correct anything I did wrong, please. There is about 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. Let's assume the person burns through 2,000 calories a day, and an average male weigh about 160. That means they would need to lose 340 pounds. So, amount of calories needed to burn. 340 pounds by 3,500 calories pound 1,190,000 calories. 1,190,000 calories x day, 2,000 calories, 595 days. It would take about 595 days to get to 160 pounds. It's not about living off of stored energy. Your body will start shutting systems off one by one and your organs will cease functioning. Every body is different. It's not unheard of for people to do 30-day fasts under supervision. Personally, I've gone 14 days. It really wasn't that bad. Day 8 and day 11 were really tough for some reason, but nothing crazy. And I was still going to work and doing some moderate exercise. My main fear was refeeding syndrome. That can kill you. But probably not for a shorter fast like mine. That's more of a worry for people doing like 25 days. No, the extra skin wouldn't be consumed. Tears of joy. WTH man. I work at a hospice and nursing home facility, and once we had this woman in her late 80s who decided she doesn't want to eat anymore because she is ready to go home. She was ill but mentally okay and without dementia, so it was not legal to disturb her decision to not eat. She was about 80 kilograms, 176 pounds. All day long she just drank a glass of water and occasionally a glass of Coke or some vanilla ice cream, e.g. once a week. She lived for another 2 months. Many obese people are actually malnourished, not due to a lack of caloric intake, but due to not getting all the essential nutrients required for proper nutrition. If they have been on a substandard diet for a significant period and have vitamin deficiencies, then they may die much sooner than a person in a healthy weight range. Long enough to see this question show up here many times. Like, let's say one of those really obese people, the ones that die because their house catches on fire and they're too fat to even leave their bed. Not everyone above 500 pounds is immobile. I don't know if this matters, but a close relative of mine opted for VSED to end their life due to an aggressive form of dementia. They weren't overweight and in decent physical health when they stopped eating drinking. Just to give you a sense of the timeline, it took 11 days of no hydration or nutrition to leave this mortal coil. The number of people on here who think you will only live 2 to 3 weeks no matter how much fat you have is concerning. It absolutely matters as long as you are properly hydrated. The more body fat you have, the longer you will live without food. Period. Your weight has nothing to do with how long you can go without food. Without a regular intake of electrolytes, a person would likely die within a couple weeks of a heart dysthymia. Regardless of their weight, potassium and magnesium in particular, but not exclusively. No, they wouldn't reabsorb their skin. But muscle, yes. Without protein, their skin would be much more prone to breaking down, however. But think bed sores and ulcers in their skin folds, which would lead to life-threatening infections before they starved to death. Source: some ICU nurse, and frequently see nearly dead very obese people. There was a guy that did this under medical supervision. Only had fluids for an entire year. I don't remember how much he lost, but he was pretty obese when he began and was within the healthy BMI when he finished. A lot of people at those higher weights have diabetes. If they go hypoglycemic, they can die. It could only take a few days. As a disclaimer, nobody should undergo an extended fast without medical supervision. 10 minutes, obviously. A friend of mine got weight loss surgery that went wrong. She passed away after a year and a half due to malnutrition. Usually about 30-45 minutes before they cried themselves to death. 3 weeks, it doesn't matter that they're fat, you need more than just calories to survive. Dude on some survival show my husband was watching entered the challenge at 300 pounds. His traps never caught food. And he wasn't able to hunt anything. He went over 30 days with no food. They pulled him out over dehydration. But if he had access to larger amounts of clean drinking, he could have easily stayed in the game. He lost 70 pounds in the just over 40 days. That's almost 2 pounds a day. The same as anyone else. It's not like bears, our metabolism doesn't work like that. It's not necessarily the fat storage to live off of, but the lack of electrolytes being taken in. They help with proper cardiac and organ function. If they are bedridden, they probably don't have access to water. So they have roughly 3 days before they die of dehydration. The rest of their lives. IRC 1 pound of fat is 3,000 calories. So if your body could, I still wouldn't know because I don't know 300 pounds in kilogram. A fake, it's 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. I don't believe body weight makes much of a difference. There are no stupid questions, but there are jerk ways to ask them. Your phrasing indicates a complete lack of regard for fat people as fellow human beings. There was a guy who went a year or two under doctor supervision. Ate nothing. Took daily nutrient injections. ECT. For the rest of their lives.